Hello. Our new chapter is about what to do with categorical variables when we're doing inference. So this first video is just talking about what a categorical variable is and what we do when we get categorical variables. So most of this class we've talked about quantitative variables, where the variable is a number, but a categorical variable places an individual into one of several groups or categories. So you can say gender, um, position on a football team. Those are not numbers. You're put into some category. Now, when we get categorical variables, what we, what we typically do is we put the data into some table. We fill out the marginal data. That's the data on the totals on the right and on the bottom typically. And then we can look at conditional distributions. Then we like to graph the data. Sometimes we do the original data and sometimes we do the conditional distributions. Then we typically summarize what we see. And then it's good to do an inference test. Now, in chapter 1, we did 1 through 5. And this video is going to typically just do a quick overview of 1 through 5. So here is the same exact one that we looked at in chapter 1, where we have all of this data in a table. It was how people, I think what people ate in a cracker, whether it was a bran cracker, a combination of a couple different ingredients, and then a control with none of the ingredients. And then they measured how well they felt. I think they measured the bloating. And so they did that at all the levels. So this is what we call the raw data on the left-hand side. And that's what we get when, uh, when you do your experiment. So when you have your raw data, the first thing you want to do is throw it in a two-way table. Something like this, where we have low, medium, high, and none, and then brand combo control. This is just your two-way table. Now, once you have a two-way table, then it's good to look at conditional distributions. I'll make these a little bit bigger to see. So this is a conditional distribution by columns. So we took 4 divided by 12 to get 33%, 1 divided by 12, 7 divided by 12. So here we can see out of the people who ate the bran crackers, 58% of them had no bloating. For the combination crackers, out of all the people who ate the combination crackers, you could see only 16% had no bloating, where the control, 50% had none. So you can do it by column for conditional distribution. You could also do conditional distributions by rows. So you can see out of all the people with high bloating, all of them came from a combination. Out of the people with a medium, half of them were in the combo, and 33% were control, and so on. So these are what conditional distributions are. Now, once you have your data in your conditional distribution, it's nice to make a graph of it. Now, there's a few different types of graphs. One is your basic bar chart. You can look at the data. The other is a ribbon chart where they add up to the percents in each category. And when you have multiple variables, you can have a side-by-side bar chart where you have 3 chunks and you compare things side by side here, or you can do a segmented bar chart where you have some sort of label, whether it be color or design in here, that distinguishes what we're looking at. So in something like this, you would need a key to determine what each of those categories are. So you decide which graph makes the best sense in that situation, and then you summarize it. So there isn't a rule like SOX for categorical variables. So this, you just look at what you see if there's any major differences, just talk about what stands out to you. And then finally, the last part is the tests. Now, when you have categorical variables, we've already studied a 1 proportion z-test and a 2 proportion z-test. These are tests you do when you have categorical variables. Another one, the thing that we're studying this chapter, is a chi-square test. This is what you do when you have many variables. This is 1 proportion, 2 proportion. Chi-square can have is usually more than two proportions, so 3, 4, 10 proportions, we do a chi-square test. And there's three of them. There's goodness of fit, independence, and homogeneity. And that's the topic of the rest of the videos.